really excited to tell you the thing. Okay, so we only have 6 problems today, Newton. But you're going to be so mad at me about these 6 once I show you what I'm going to show you. You're going to be mad at the work you put into the last chapter. But it's going to be okay. I already know you're going to be mad. I'd be mad at you too. It's okay. I swear I did it for your own good. So just know that great things are going to happen today, and you're going to be mad that you didn't know your calculator did this all along. We are going to do the 6 math workshop problems. If you don't have this math workshop, it's what the sub passed out on Monday, which was 1023. So you need to look at the 23. You also need out, I forgot this, the calculator directions I gave out, I think, last Friday.
We do
So you have those. That would be a good thing to have out as well.
For today? Or
yes, today. We're finally going to use them. Okay, today is the final thing with new stuff on matrices. You and I are done talking about matrices. When is our test? Today. Who said it?
Just.
Lyric. I heard the little tiny voice of Lyric first, so we're going to get Lyric her point. So Brady, since she's with you, she gets your point. Test is Tuesday, so that means what else is due on Tuesday?
Your study guide.
And table 1 can have a point. That was unanimous. Notice the last study guide, a lot of people forgot to turn in. A lot of people still have zeros for it. Don't let that be you. It's 25. Oh, it is. Perfect. It has 25 questions. We're not cutting any of them out on it. They have 25 questions. We're not cutting any of them out. So it would be smart if Travis has all the things done to go ahead and start working on that because it's due Tuesday regardless. If you've already done, so let's talk about things that I'm looking for because I'm only going to ramble so long. If you've already showed me page 39, great. If not, I'm so sorry, I've already typed in the 0. You would like to rectify that. You want to fix that today. I haven't typed in the 0 for page 41 yet, but I am this afternoon. So have you done the workbook, page 39 and page 41? Yes, 39 and 41. Yesterday, you got a new assignment. It's page 43. I would like to see that today, but I understand 3 workbook assignments is a lot. So it's okay if you don't show me that till Monday. But you know when you take the test on Tuesday, I'm going to type in the 0 for that one as well. So don't get behind on your workbook stuff, especially since it's just been straight up calculator stuff. So have you showed me the 3 different pages? Okay. Again, the 39 already has the 0 in. The 41, I'm typing in the 0 this afternoon. I'm not typing in 43 until Tuesday, but you already know that's coming. And there's only like 6 of those, so you might as well go ahead and do those. Okay, are there any questions about stuff that's due? Okay, I still have checkpoint up there because I still have a couple who haven't done their checkpoint. Normally, if you haven't passed your checkpoint by the day of the test, I give you a 5 out of 10. So just FYI. Something else. Oh, yes. Mason asked about your quizzes. I do have them all graded. You are going to get to see them for the end of class. And you actually had a really high average. I think your average was higher than first and second, which was impressive. Normally, you're about in line with, like, it's normally, like, pretty even. It's scary how even it is. But this time you actually did a little better than them. So it was interesting. Curious, though. Very good job.
Like, you did the test first.
No.
Do you want to give us a point for that?
Yeah, I'll give everybody a point for that. How's that? Jason, how's that instead? I'll give everybody a point for doing so well. That was a good suggestion, David. Okay, let's see. I want to go over 1 through 6 from the math workshop that we passed out on Monday. And then I want to do 6 problems in your notes, and then Mason can finally see his quiz, and I will dig his out since he's the most interested. Okay. Easy points available. What do I do in number 1? Yes, dear?
Take 8 out.
If you take out an 8, you're left with a 2t minus 5y. She gets a point for that. Number 2. Yes, dear?
I got 3D minus 5.
Say it again.
I got 3D minus 5.
2 points for you. Excuse me. The reason he gets 2 points is he did grouping. He pulled out a 3D. He was left with a t minus 7. He pulled out a negative 5. He was left with a t minus 7. And he just told me straight up the answer. That was awesome. Number 3 has some issues. It's not written in the order we needed in the factor. For an easy point, can someone put it in the correct order? Yes, dear?
H squared plus No, minus 8H plus 64.
Perfect. Then he gets a point. So we're really needing two things that add to give us negative 8 and multiply to give us 64. Anyone have any suggestions on that?
Negative 8 times negative 8.
Does that add to negative 8? That adds to negative 16. So let's list off all the factors of 64. There is 8 and 8. What else multiplies 64?
2 and 9.
4 and 16, Brady said. 2 and 32. 1 and 64. Are there any others? Well, we have 8 and 8. Are there any others? I can't come up with any more, can you? Do any of these have a difference of 8? So like 16 minus 4, is it 8? No. So none of these have a difference of 8. So what should I write? Okay, so and that's what I was hoping you were going to say, Travis. You can have a point for that. Instead of putting no solution, I'm going to put not factorable. And I'm really glad this problem was on here so we could discuss what's coming next. So yes, Mason has a test on Tuesday on matrices. However, after that, we finally move on to chapter 4, and that's when we do quadratics. When we get to quadratics, going to spend more time factoring because that ends up giving us our intercepts and such. So factoring's not going to go away. But just because we can't factor something doesn't mean it doesn't have an answer. It literally just means it's not factorable. It might have an answer. It's just a decimal or it's an imaginary number, and we're going to have to figure it out using that lovely quadratic formula. So just because we can't factor it doesn't mean it doesn't have an answer. Okay, side rate over. Number 4, if you can go straight to the answer, you can get 2 points.
5b minus 19 squared.
Not squared.
5b plus
Yes, you can still have the 2. Okay, so it's my favorite one of the day because instantly you should have recognized it was perfect squares. Yes, everyone knows 5 squared is 25. Most of us have forgotten 19 squared is 361 because most of us have forgotten our perfect squares, which is sad, especially since I'm going to mention to you now and I'm going to mention all next week. Not next week, but the following week. We'll do it on the following Tuesday. We're going to have our perfect cubes test. So you need to know stuff like 3 cubed is 27. 2 cubed is 8. Yay! So if you're worried about that, you might as well start studying for it because so you have this matrix test coming up on Tuesday. That's in the 60%. You eventually have a math workshop test, those who are zoned out. That's in the 60%. And then you're going to have a perfect cubes test also in the 60%. See, I can name 3 easy 60% grades that you know are coming up. Okay, let's do number 5. Why is number 5 depressing? Yes, dear.
How many is a cube you want to know?
It's 1 through 10, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's on the very back page of the notes right now. In your packet, it's the very back page, and yeah, it's 1 through 10. Good question. You can have a point, Travis. Okay, why is this one really sad and annoying? Yes, ma'am. There is no GCF, but so this should be, why is it not an easy factor?
We don't have one.
Because it doesn't have a leading coefficient of 1. You get the point, Brady. The leading coefficient is a 3. That darn 3 messes everything up. So instead of saying what adds to give us negative 2, what multiplies to give us negative 5, that's not going to work. So your teacher spent a lot of time in algebra teaching you different things. I don't know if your teacher did bust them up or if they did the star method or I don't know what they did. We're going to go over different things when the time comes in the next chapter. But for today, we're going to do what I think is the most math-like way, which is literally just guess and check. So we're going to guess what we think the factors are. We're going to FOIL to check. If we're right, yay, we're done. If we're wrong, we picked the wrong factors. Let's pick something else. Literally, we're just going to guess until we get it right. Okay, so I know it's going to be a 3p and a p. What I'm going to guess is the number that goes beside it. It still needs to be 2 numbers that multiply to negative 5. So it's either going to be 1 times negative 5 or negative 5 times 1. It has to be one or the other. So, and then we have to debate, do I put the 1 here, do I put the 5 here? So I'm just going to guess. Let's put the 5, maybe put the 5 first and the 1 here? I'm just guessing. So which one do you think should be positive? And you think this 5 should be negative? Okay, so let's see. This, literally, me and Travis are just guessing, hence why it's called guess and check. So now we're going to check by FOILing. And if we're right, good for us. And if we're wrong, we know what to change. Maybe it should be 3p plus 5, p minus 1. Or maybe the 1 and the 5 need to swap spots. It's really not that big of a deal. So if we check it, it's 3p squared plus 3p minus 5p minus 5. When we combine those like terms, we get 3p squared minus 2p minus 5, which means Travis is a good guesser because it checked out. So we're done. Those really were the factors. If when we checked we didn't get the original, seriously, not that big of a deal. Maybe we need to like change the signs. Not a big deal. But since it is something that people are scared of, we're not doing number 10 today. No way we're doing number 9 when it has something to the 4th power. No. So the only one we're going to do left is number 6. Yes, Travis?
2ab parentheses 2ab plus a.
I can't see it by like.
I know, I just hadn't moved yet. I was thinking of what he said. Okay, so he said 2ab, and then he was left with a 2ab plus a minus 5b. Yeah, that's correct. That's perfect. You can have a point. And you're like, yay, a GCF one. I can do that. Awesome. That sounds much better than this other stuff. Okay, so we're on page 9 of your notes. So far, we've learned how to add, subtract, and multiply with matrices, but we couldn't learn how to divide because you can't use division. Instead of doing division, what do we use? The inverse. Caitlin gets the point. So we learned how to do inverses 2 days ago. But before we could do yesterday actually, before we could do inverses, a couple days before that, we had learned about checking something else. The little clause of if it exists, which is why you have to check the determinant. Caitlin gets the other point. So far, do you know how to add, subtract, multiply, find the determinant, find the inverse, and then this is the final thing. The final thing. And this is the part where you're going to be mad. So notice, page 9, the bottom 6. Oh my goodness, there are systems again. They've come back up. You know how to solve this using elimination. A bunch. You used elimination like what, 4 times? To solve. You picked on a variable, you said like, y's would be easy on number 1. I'm going to multiply the top equation by -2, and you did a lot of work. How long did each problem take you?
A good while.
A good while. I'm going to say 5+ minutes per problem. You're going to be really sad at how fast we can do it today using matrices. I'm going to write number 1. I'm going to put this system into a matrix. I'm going to type it in my calculator. I'm going to press a magic button. My calculator is going to solve this system for me. I no longer have to spend 5 years working out a system. For instance, on number 1, I'm going to put all my x values in my first column. So my x values are 2, 3, 4. So my first column is 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. My y column, I'm going to do all the numbers in front of the y. So 1, 2, 1. So my second column, 1, 2, 1. Bless you. My third column, I'm going to do all the numbers in front of the z's. So 1, 3, 2. And then I'm going to stop right there for a second. I swear I'm going to do the last one with numbers. So first of all, it has to be in the right order. It has to have the x, the y, the z's equals the numbers. So if your equations aren't in the correct order, you do have to rearrange them. So there is some potential work. But otherwise, literally, the numbers in front of the x go in the first column. The numbers in front of the y go in the second column. And the numbers in front of the z go in the third column. If I stopped right here, what kind of matrix would this be?
Square.
Jessica gets a point. It would be a square matrix. We just talked about the identity matrix yesterday. What's the identity matrix for a 3x3? What's the identity matrix for a 3x3? 1, 0, 0.
0, 1, 0.
0, 1, 0.
0, 0, 1.
Okay, so that's actually going to be our goal today. We're going to learn to press the magic button, and we want to see this matrix. We're hoping to see this matrix, and then it's going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to have a couple extra numbers on the right. Those extra numbers are going to be our answers. Literally, the top number is going to be the X value, middle number is the Y, bottom number is the Z. But everything's worked out well if we see this identity matrix. That's why we had to talk about him first. Okay, so back to our problem at hand. I did the X's and the Y's. I've still got to make a column for the numbers. So 1, 12, negative 1. I'm now going to go type this in my calculator. So second matrix edit. It's a 3x4. I'm going to type it in A. And my entries are 2, 1, 1, 1. 3, 2, 3, 12. 4, 1, 2, negative 1.
Yeah,
Yes. Did I type something wrong?
No, ma'am, I was about to ask.
Yes.
How did you reset it to one to clear off the
Oh, yes. If you're wanting to clear off all that other junk. So second mem. Second mem is with the plus sign. And then hit memory management. And then you'll see the option that says matrix. And you can really, if you're mad at their matrix, press delete. Which is smart because too many things typed in too many places, even I get confused. Okay, so back to what I was doing. I was editing my 3x4. I typed it on my entries. Were there any questions about how to do this? I pray you have this down by now.
Why don't you have the 112 and negative 1?
I do. It's not showing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It was too wide for the screen. I have them all typed in. But I pray you know how to type this part in. Because if you can't type in the matrix, how are you going to make the calculator do the matrix math for you? You can't. Okay, so are there any questions about how to type it in?
Alright, Ms. Thompson.
Yes, sir.
I hit second matrix and I just hit A.
Did you edit it and already type all this in? Did you scroll over to edit? Did you edit A and type in these values? Okay, I'm going to give her a second. Is there anyone else who can't get this? Okay, well, while people are typing, I'm going to talk. It would be smart. You realize I'm going to show you how to do this in 2 seconds on your calculator. To show work. Yes, dear? Okay, I said second matrix A. It was 2, 1, 1, 1, and so it just won't show the full thing on your screen. I did 3, 2, 3, 12. I typed in all the things. It just won't show it all on the screen at the same time. 4, 1, 2, negative 1. I did. It just won't show it all on the screen. Okay. I get that you probably could have set this up in your head, but it's probably smart to write it on your paper so you have some sort of work. It's probably also smart to show, after we press the button, what your calculator shows you. That way I know what you saw on your calculator screen. Because otherwise, Lyric's literally going to have an answer. And what if it's wrong? What if she's made a typo? What if she typed -2 instead of +2? Because I did it first period. It happens all the time. So what if you made a typo? This is the way to show work would be to show what you're typing in and then what your calculator gives you. Okay, does everyone have it typed in? Okay, so I'm going to quit. You know we're going to press second matrix. We're still going to press matrix. We're still going to press math. Now when we were wanting to do determinant, we pressed DET. When we're wanting to solve a system, we press RREF. There is also a button that says ref. You don't want ref. You want RREF. So, second matrix. I scroll over to math. I'm scrolling down. I see ref. I don't want him. I want RREF. I want the letter B. Okay, so I hit enter because I want RF. I typed my matrix in on A, so I'm going to tell it I want RF of A, and it gives me an answer. Does everyone have this that is trying to get this? I said second RF, or second, I went to matrix, math, I scrolled to RF. Did you find the RF part? Yes? Second matrix, and then I told it enter on A. Yes, Andrew, you can have a point. Travis, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it might be smart to put this entire thing on my paper, but Andrew's already caught on. The answer is literally -436. So, like Andrew said, x is -4, y is 3, 6 is z. And the reason we know this is legit, again, is because on the first 3 columns, I see that identity matrix. All ones and zeros. One's on the diagonal. Are there any questions about this? We're going to do the exact same thing on number 2. Let's set it up. So number 2, for my x column, I'm going to do 6, 2, 2. For my y column, I'm going to do -4, -2, 2. For my z column, I'm going to do 2, 6, 2. And for my numbers column, -4, 10, -2. And now I'm going to go type this in. I'm going to type it in on B, but type it in somewhere in your calculator inside a matrix. Second matrix, I want to edit B. It's a 3x4. 6, 2, 2. Yes, dear.
Is your 6, 2, 2 to those x's?
Yes. Is that not correct?
It says 6x, -2x, and 4x on my paper for number 24.
2, number 2.
Okay, wrong one on paper.
Okay. Okay. No, it happened to me earlier, so I would not be surprised. So 6, -4, 2, -4, 2, -2, 6, 10. I can't hold it and do that. 6, 10, 2, 2, 2, -2. Okay, does everyone have it typed in? The first person that tells me what they got as their answer will get a point.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Andrew.
X equals -7, y equals -7.3, y equals 1.6, and z equals 4.6.
That is not what I got. So you typed something wrong in your matrix. Just go back and check your matrix and your signs. Yes, Eric, you can have a point. Okay, so I typed in my matrix, hopefully correctly. If you didn't, yeah, that's the first step. So we got to make sure that's right. So let me press second matrix. I go to RF. I want to do the RF of B, because that's where I typed it in. And like Eric, I got the identity matrix on the left. There's the identity matrix. And then my answer is -2, -1, 2. So for number 2, I got -2, -1, 2. Are there any questions about number 2? Okay, well then for number 3, for an easy point, can you help me set up the matrix I need to type in my calculator? Yes, dear?
Do you want to go up and down? Or?
I don't care.
Okay, so you'll have 5, and then 5 below it, and another 5.
That's 0.
Mhm.
Number 3?
Yeah, because on the third line there is no x.
There's no X, you're right.
Okay, and then next.
And then you'll have -5, and you'll have 0y, and then you'll have 5.
Perfect. Next.
And then 5z, -5z, and 10z.
And then.
10, 5, and 0.
Okay, so the reason, Jessica can have a point. The reason I asked somebody else to do that, thank you, dear, was because notice that some of the variables are missing. For instance, the third equation doesn't have an x. That's why we put in a 0 for the x. The second equation didn't have a y. That's why we put a 0 in for the y. Anyone have any questions about how we set up this matrix? If you can't set up the matrix, how on earth is the calculator going to give you the answer? It's not. So if you need help setting this up, you need to speak. Okay, beat me to the answer. I'm going to type it in and see what I get.
Mason's got it.
1.25, -0.5, and 1.25.
Yes, and you can get 1 point, but I'm willing to give you one more point. Can you turn it into fractions?
-1 and 1/4.
Negative 1.
I want a mixed fraction. We learned a button to do it yesterday.
5 and 1/4 or 5.
We learned a button that you could just press yesterday.
Fraction. But it's the frac button.
Yes. Literally, you press,
5/4, negative 1/2, and 1/4.
and you can have a point for that. Yes.
We have 2 points.
Yes. Okay, so yes. Did anyone not get this? So you're right. I see the 1.25, the negative 0.5, and the 0.25. But you and I discussed yesterday, wouldn't life be so much prettier if we did fractions? So you could press math, then frac, and it will turn your entire matrix into fractions. So instead of 1.25, isn't it nicer to write 5/4, negative 1/2, 1/4? Beautiful. Okay, are there any questions about that one? Okay, let's do 4, and then we need to talk about 5 and 6. So let's do 4. Can you beat me to 4? That was very good. Okay, and I'm going to get lazy on you. I'm not actually going to write the matrix out for 4 unless someone needs me to. I'm just going to type it straight in my calculator.
Need a pencil.
Yes, you're giving me a post-it.
This concept.
Yes, dear.
I have
Yes, bring your calculator. Tell me your numbers.
the answers that I
Yes,
have.
please.
X is -2, Y is 0, and Z is -3.
Perfect. Bring me your calculator. You can have 2 points, so I can show that, so I don't have to do it. Okay, so literally he typed in the matrix on number 4. He pressed RF of his matrix, and he has the answer -2, 0, -3. Are there any questions on number 4?
You said 2 points.
Yes. Again, you press math, and then frac is the first option. But, it won't do anything on that one because it's already whole numbers. You do? Okay, and this is where we need to pause for a moment because I'm sure you're trying to type in 5 and 6 and beat me, and you probably will, and we'll get to that in a second. 5 and 6 are both supposed to be weird. Jessica, will you bring me your calculator paper? Xavier, here's your answer. -2, 0, -3. -3. 4 was -2, 0, -3. Okay, so before you go crazy and try 5 and 6 like Travis, let's look at your calculator handout. So on your calculator handout, you really don't need the front side unless you're really confused today, because the front side just goes over, again, how to type in a matrix in your calculator, how to find RF. So you really don't need the front side unless you're confused. The only thing you need is the bottom back. So on the bottom of the back, it explains what we want is the identity matrix. And then those final 3 numbers, those are our answers. But you and I both know when we did systems, it could have a solution, or it could be no solution, or it could be infinitely many. So we have to discuss those 2 cases. If when you type it in, you get something that's not the identity matrix. Is this the identity matrix? No, it doesn't have a 1 down there. And it has a 0 at the bottom. Same thing on the next example. It's not the identity matrix, but it has a 1 at the bottom. And literally that's the difference. If your final answer, normally the Z, if it's a 1, you put no solution. If your final answer, that final number, is a 0, you put infinitely many. So we look to see, did I get the identity matrix? If yes, yay, it's a real answer. Did I get the identity matrix? No? It was something crazy? Is it a 0 or is it a 1? If it's a 0, it's infinitely many. If it's a 1, it's no solution. Okay, so clearly that's what we're expecting to get on 5 and 6, which is why Travis is raising his hand, because now he knows the answer to 5. What is the answer to 5, Travis?
No, I know 6.
Okay, what's the answer to 6? Okay, and it is infinitely many. You can have a point, but for the rest of us, let's go to 5. So I'm going to type in 5 into my calculator. I'm going to type it in letter E. So it's a 3 by 4, 4, 5, negative 4, negative 4, 4, 4, 6, negative 4, 0, 2, negative 2, negative 2, negative 4. It is the no solution one. But we're going to look at it. Let me just get mine and pull up. And you can have a point for that. Travis. Okay, so if you have yours typed in, and you tell it to do RF of your matrix on number 5, when you press it, you get this. So I typed in number 5, I told it RF, but look, that's not the identity matrix. And look, there's a 1 at the bottom. That's why we're going to put no solution. Now, there's potential for Lyric to make a mistake or a typo in life, which I totally understand. So again, what should Lyric at least show on her paper for this one? What I would do if I had number 5 on my test is I would at least put the entire matrix I got when I pressed RF. So I got 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And I might even circle the 1 to show Miss Compton, like, this is why I put no solution. Because otherwise, what if Brady's wrong? He got in a hurry. He typed something wrong. It was supposed to have a real answer. I'm not psychic. I don't have his calculator. I don't know what he typed. Why not show me what your calculator gave you? Okay, and let's do the same thing on number 6, although Travis already has it done, so I'm cool if he wants to go ahead and start his workbook junk. 2, negative 4, 4, 10, 1, negative 2, 2, 5, negative 5, negative 4, 0, 19. Okay, would someone besides Travis, who already told us his answer, would someone like to share their answer on number 6? Press frac and turn it into fractions for you, show me. What's the third number you got on the top row? Math frac. What'd you get?
I got 1, 0, 4 over 7,
Yep.
and negative 9 over 7,
Same.
and then 0, 1, negative 5 over 7, and negative 22 over 7, and then all zeros at the bottom.
So again, what Lyric should show on her paper for number 6 is what she and I got the same thing on her calculators, but I don't see Lyric's calculator screen. Maybe she should put this entire thing, circle the 0, and then that explains why she put infinitely many. She didn't have the identity matrix. She had a 0 at the bottom. She put infinitely many. What I'm afraid is going to happen, though, is Lyric's super excited about the 0. So she's going to get... She's going to get this, and the answer is clearly 250. But she's so excited it had a 0 in the bottom, she wants to put infinitely many. You have to make sure it's not the identity matrix first. If you've got the identity matrix, you have a real answer. If you don't have the identity matrix, that's when you've got to make this call of, is it no solution, or is it infinitely many? Okay, are there any questions about this, other than you're mad at me for holding out on all my secrets all this time? I have other secrets I've yet to tell you as well, by the way. Okay, if I were you, I'd work on my workbook pages, or it would be smart to start your study guide. When I call your name, it's to come see your quiz. If you need to show me one of the workbook pages, that would be awesome too.